Hello and welcome to the CVCS Athletics Podcast. This is episode 9 and I am your host, Grady Sanchez. Today is Thursday, November 2nd, and we have a great show for you today. On the show, we are focusing on 2 student athletes that have committed to college for their athletic prowess. Our first commit is Camille Solovjev, a senior volleyball player that is committed to Biola University. Our other commit is Andrew Johnson, a senior baseball player that is committed to USC. We get to talk to their high school coaches about them, and we have some responses from their college coaches too. I couldn't be prouder of these 2 students, and so glad that I have gotten to know them on and off the field. Thank you all for listening to the show today. Please give CVCS Athletics Podcast a follow, a like, a subscribe, and a rating. You can find us on all major podcast streaming services such as Apple, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Also, visit the CVCS Podcast Network website at cvcs.org/podcast for all the shows by other faculty members, chapels, and students. And now the results from last week. The girls volleyball team has made a run this year at the CIF Championship and has been rolling through their competition in the CIF playoffs. Last week they played Valley Christian and they won their sets at home 3-0. This Saturday they had a big road win against Sunny Hills, winning 3-0. They are on their way to the CIF Championship, where they are going to play El Dorado at Cerritos College 10 a.m. on Saturday, November 4th. What a great season it has been for the girls. We've got to talk to them. We've got to meet with them on the show, and no doubt they are talented. No doubt they are smart. And Kelle is awesome coach. They're captain at the helm and just leading this team to one of their best seasons that they've had recently. So proud of all of them. Keep going. Good luck. You got this, girls. We are going to be there in support. Meanwhile, the boys football team went on a road trip to Arrowhead Christian and won their game 45-6. With that win, they won the Mesquite League Championship. Congratulations, men. You did a wonderful job. Great job on the season. And they are looking forward to playing in the first round of CIF playoffs at home at Tesoro, 7 p.m. Friday night, November 3rd, and they'll be taking on Beckman. Great job out there on the season. What an awesome way to win the league championship. Good luck out there in the first round of playoffs. Go get them, and we will be out there in full support of you guys too. What a wonderful time it is to be an Eagle. We have 2 CIF games this week, one for football, one for volleyball, and volleyball is playing for the championship. On the show this week, we have coaches Kelle Bond and Clemente Bonilla. We welcome both of them back to the show as they have been guests before. Kelle is the varsity volleyball coach and has been coaching for over 20 years. Her girls are in the CIF finals this week, playing at Cerritos College at 10 a.m. Clemente, also known as Chach, has been the varsity baseball coach at CVCS for 17 years. He played baseball professionally and serves the school as the admissions assistant. He will be a regular on the show as baseball season begins in the spring. It is an honor to have you both here with us in studio. We get to talk about Camille and Andrew for the whole podcast, and we would just love to start off with what are some of the best memories you guys have about Camille and Andrew?
So I would say one of my favorites with Camille is, she transferred here her junior year and had specifically played libero for that during club and during high school, and we had some pretty significant injuries last season, and we needed her to play all the way around. So not only was she passing and digging and serving, which is just her jam, but we needed her to hit and block. And she just approached that with a grace and a humility and a servant's heart in really immeasurable ways. And again, she hadn't hit in years, really, because that wasn't her position, but the fact that she could come here and we could throw her into an offensive role and she would just embrace that just speaks volumes of her character and her willingness to say no to herself and yes to her teammates. So that's one of my favorite memories of Camille.
That's kind of gives me a thought about Andrew too, because I know there was a time where Andrew was doing both offensive and pitching, and he's always been character-wise the kind of player and teammate that wants to just do whatever is best for the team. And I've always told the guys, and Kelly and I have talked about this a lot since we've been here so many years together coaching, it's just really sweet when you can align your best interest with the team's best interest, because then now it's a win-win, right? And so, but Andrew, I think if we played him offensively, he'd probably be one of our top-tier defensive outfielders. Obviously, he has that strong arm, and he's a very powerful kid, so he could, potentially drive the ball. But when we all decided to have him just pitch and concentrate on that, it really just took off for him, and a lot of schools started noticing. He has just tremendous composure for a young man, and the fastball is in the lower 90-mile-an-hour area, but he has very good command with his off-speed and his changeup. So I think that USC was a really good choice for him, and vice versa. I think both parties involved are just really excited that they get to have him next year.
Yeah, I had Andrew in my math class last year, and he was a joy. He was a leader and kind of rallied the troops when things got hard. And then I have Camille this year in my math class, and she serves the same. It's been a joy to know them both on and off the field, and they're growing and becoming great advocates for themselves and for others. So it's nice to hear that they do the same thing on the baseball field and on the volleyball court. Where have you seen them grow the most from the first time you saw them play to today?
I think with Cam, it's kind of twofold. One, I think just her desire to know more about the Lord, to ask questions, to be involved in PJ's Bible study. She loves her Bible classes. I think just her desire to journey, or just her faith journey, has been really beautiful to be a part of. So I've loved that aspect of her. I think as a player, developing her IQ and really taking in the coaching, especially from Katie, who played lib at Pepperdine, Camille's humility in approaching our system and tweaking things that maybe differ from our club coaches, in buying into what we want her to do as the lib and basically as the one who runs that backcourt. She has really taken that on and just invested in making changes quickly, which has obviously been really successful for our team. I mean, we're going to the CIF finals, but every day she comes into practice and she tweaks and she fine-tunes. And really tries to take what Coach Katie is telling her and put that into practice immediately.
For Andrew, so I don't know if it's a well-known fact or not, but his grandmother is Barbara Schaffner. So she's our CFO in the business office, runs the business office, and she's been here a long time. Before I was here, before Kelly was here, so I'm not sure how many years she's been here, but she's just been a part of our school for such a long time. And I remember it must have been Andrew's fifth grade year. She asked if I had any time to take a look at her grandson. And so after school one of those days, I went out and took my glove and played some catch and threw him some BP and just kind of just a little workout, a little 30-minute workout with him. And right away, I was very impressed with his throwing mechanics. And I had asked him if he had a pitching coach or anything. And at that time, he had not started pitching with lessons and things like that. Everything he had done had just been pretty much natural. And his throwing motion, his mechanics, his free and easy release was as impressive as I've seen for a kid that age in a long time. And also, if you know Barbara Schaffner, she's one of the only women that is as tall as Kelly Bond, probably.
Yeah, Barbara.
And so, and then, he just comes from a very tall family. A lot of the women in his family are very tall. And so,
and his mother is a fantastic volleyball player.
And she's tall as well. Not quite as tall as Kelly, but almost. And then so, you could make with those free and easy mechanics and throwing motion, and the fact that he had such tall family members, it wasn't a far stretch to think he was going to be a pretty good-sized kid. And so there's been some serious physical growth since I first saw him throw. And now he's probably 6'3", maybe closing in on 6'4". And that free and easy is really translated into some good velocity. But what I'm even more impressed about is not just his physical growth, but his first couple years, he played varsity early on in his career. Sophomore year, he was getting a lot of valuable innings for us against good programs. Last year, he took the number 2 role and it was just great going against some of the top programs in the county. But he was always a kid who listened a lot more than he spoke. And this year, he's really transformed his leadership. He's more vocal, and he's willing to just get these guys together and get them all in line and chasing after the same dream and moving in the same direction. And it's been really fun just to see him grow as a leader.
With Orange County as a hotbed we have all the club volleyball teams, we got all the club travel teams for baseball, and everything is competitive here. And what separates these 2 athletes from the others to get them committed to a college to play their respective sport?
When Camille came here, I have a to-do list starting their freshman year of just if they want to play in college, here's some things to do. And obviously, Chach and I have coached at very high levels and been able to send players to multiple levels of collegiate ball. But Camille really followed what I asked her to do. She did it. She went to camps. She contacted the coaches. When she couldn't contact them, I wrote for her until she could. She sent them video. I followed up with my emails. She did everything I asked her to do. And so I think that got her a head start into being noticed by collegiate coaches. And then I think she's really developed just her view of becoming a student of the game. She loves the game. She's a player of the game, but she's actually really worked on becoming a student of her own play, of the other team, of what to expect, and then how to take that knowledge and help the rest of her teammates on and off the court. She's just grown a lot in her court presence and in her court leadership. I think Camille really goes out of her way to encourage the girls with her body language and her tone, and I think that is significant, especially because she is in a different color jersey. She runs that backcourt island. She runs it. And so in that, you have to know what's coming, and then you have to be able to encourage people on how to adjust. So that has been really amazing to see as a coaching staff, just her leadership in that backcourt, her service to the athletes, and then just her hard work off the court and getting noticed and doing the things that we told her to do. And it's paid off. I mean, we're so excited she's local. So we can watch her and Andrew. They're both local.
Yeah, I remember my own journey through college athletics. It was sending emails here, sending video there, having a scouting profile. My parents worked their tail off.
Yes.
And my coaches worked their tail off
and
just
George
to get me going.
And Christy have worked their tails off for Cam. And it is a family.
It's a support system.
Yes.
And it's much needed. And then it just sounds like Camille has just a super high talent level. And she came in with that natural ability. And then we have this saying, like, you can play baseball or you're a baseball player. There's people who can walk on the field and be naturally gifted, and you can tell they're different. But if they don't have the IQ or the knowledge of the game to make themselves better, at that next level, they're all the same.
Exactly.
Everybody comes in with that talent. And so something that helps learn at this level, and what Chach and Kelle are so good about, is teaching the game that they coach. It's not just who can hit the ball the furthest, who can hit the ball the hardest, who can set it where, but it's the knowing when and the knowing why.
Yes.
So that's great to hear. Chach, what about Andrew? What separates him from other players at his age?
Well, you just said the knowing, the when and the why, the how. We all know as ex-collegiate athletes that the road and the performance and the talent, it all just gets harder and stronger. And so everyone's going to be good at what they're supposed to be. Their skill sets are going to be a little bit more matched evenly at those next levels. And so it does really become more of your ability to kind of stay in the moment, lower your heart rate, and focus on the process. And Andrew does that extremely well. He has been emotionally as composed of a young athlete as I've seen ever. And I just love that about him, and I think that's such a good way to approach sports. I mean, if he's thrown 4 innings and got shelled, or if he threw a no-hitter and did great, win or loss, you really can't tell, because he's still just the same guy. He's friendly. He's approachable. And I just think that's just a value to the next levels. Like you can't compete on a roller coaster. You have to be able to stay a little more even keel, and he does a really good job of that. And then on top of that, just becoming a little bit more of a leader. But he was starting to throw hard probably late sophomore year into the junior year, so there was a lot of schools that that became interested in him. But I think USC just it's close to home. It's got a great tradition. And then, of course, Seth Etherton was hired 2 years ago to be the pitching coach there, and Seth and I go way back. I was at El Toro High School, and he was at Dana Hills High School, competing against each other. And then, fast forward some years, 2003, we were both in Cincinnati Red Spring training. He was on the big league side, and I was on the minor league camp side, but still got to run into each other and catch up. And then we've just stayed friends over the years. And then as soon as Andrew was ready, I shot him a text and said, "This is a guy you need to come see." And immediately he saw him and was impressed.
Nice. Can you speak to Andrew's performance in the CIF game last year against Aquinas, where Hunter threw a gem in the first half, but we went 12 innings. Can you tell the audience what you saw in him that would separate him and had him compete at that high level under those pressure circumstances?
Oh yeah, I mean, I had so many texts after that game telling me that it was one of the most exciting high school baseball games they had ever seen. And when someone says that to you and you're on the losing end of it, it's just like it was one of the most exciting losses. So it's still the loss part of it. But Andrew came out with a no decision. He started that game, second round, and we had a few hitters that we keyed in on, especially Pedante, who went in the third round of the draft. We had watched some video and had very good, tactics and strategies to go up against him. And Andrew again kept his composure. There wasn't one moment or one particular player that, even though he was getting all the looks Pedante was a senior last year, so Andrew's junior year. There was a lot of major league scouts there and all that stuff, but he didn't let the moment get too big for him. He focused on the process, focused on what the strategy was, and executed beautifully. And so not only did we have him under Andrew, he was 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts and a pop-up. But Andrew ended up we had 27 strikeouts in the game, and Andrew had 14 of those strikeouts in his 6 2/3. So it was quite a performance for him.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
What a special game. And then just to close us out, they're off to college next year. We've been with them for such a long time, and it's hard to see them grow up like that. But knowing that their time here at CVCS is coming to an end, what words of encouragement do you have for them that they can come back and listen to just be a sounding board and for encouragement for them to keep going on their path?
Man, for Camille, I think just my prayer for all of my athletes and all of my students is to just continue to grow in their relationship with Christ, to know him more and be known by him. And Biola is an incredible place to do that. Top-notch professors, amazing biblical worldview. I'm just so excited for that part of her journey. And then just as a player, to just be patient in the process. As you guys know, college is another level. You got a lot of other players competing for your position, probably way more so than high school. And to just enjoy the process, work through the process, and know that you have earned your position there, and now you just go win a job each and every day. Because, man, so many kids play sports for so long. And what Andrew and Camille are doing, I wish everybody could do, and a very small percentage of student athletes do it. So just enjoy it, and compete. And I can't wait to cheer her on. We will be in the stands. So, yes, looking forward.
I can't say it better than that. Andrew, really good. Listen to Coach Bond. I mean, just to move alongside of Kelle, enjoy it. I was lucky enough to sign and play with a couple years of professional baseball, and not that that's not rewarding. That's part of the dream to try to make it to the big leagues. But when I look back in my own career, I had so much fun in college.
Amen.
Like college was the fun time.
It's, right.
And I think that
So
she said it earlier too, just be adaptable, pivot. Andrew's always been a starter. If they need you to throw out of the pen, throw out of the pen. If they need you to spot start. If whatever they need, you're just game to do it. Just be coachable, be adaptable, just do whatever's best for the team and just build those relationships because growing in a relationship with Jesus Christ, which is the ultimate, we get to be, in athletics and this is just like a practice. Build those relationships with your teammates because that's going to ultimately help you grow in a relationship with the Lord.
Great wise words from very veteran, experienced coaches that just have the best interest for the both of them. So thank you so much for your guys' wise and kind words and your time today. It's been a blast. I love you guys both. It's been a lot of fun. Kelly, thanks for coming back. Chach, we look forward to a spring season and just lifting up Andrew and Camille in our prayers and letting them know that they're supported and loved all the way. So couldn't ask for anything better.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you
guys
so much.
In honor of signing day, I reached out to Camille and Andrew's college coaches and wanted to ask them a few questions about what it takes to be a college athlete and what made Camille and Andrew so special. Starting off with Coach Seltzer over at Biola talking about Camille. The question was, what makes an athlete ready to be a Biola Eagle? As a staff, we spend hours evaluating potential recruits on a great number of levels. The level of readiness is difficult with every athlete we bring in. We consider someone ready to join our family if they understand that when they get here, it isn't about them. It's about every other person in our family. So check your ego at the door and prepare to serve the way God calls us to. We want those high-level athletes that love Jesus and are ready to step in a competitive environment that puts all their teammates above themselves. That is a ready fit for Biola. The next question is, what is special about Camille? Camille is not only ready to be an Eagle, but she is at the top of her position skill level. We have watched her get better every single time we have seen her play and have been impressed every time we have had conversations. Her maturity and poise will translate well to the next level. Beyond all this, Camille is just a wonderful person with a fantastic personality who we know will have a huge impact for those around her. We care greatly about the character of those we bring in, and she could not be a better fit in that way. Our next question is, what makes Camille a good fit for your program? Camille is someone who understands what Biola is about, and she understands the importance of putting God first in her life. It doesn't hurt that she competes at the top of her position and will bring a solid competitiveness to our gym. And our last question is, how can she provide an immediate impact on your program as an incoming freshman? What we look for in our freshmen is the ability to compete to play right away. Even though it may take some time to earn that spot, if they're pushing to get on the floor, we know that over the course of the year and years to come, the impact athletically will be huge. We are looking for Camille to come in and push everyone around her. We like to say, make it so we can't live without you on the floor. And now we have Coach Etherton's responses for Andrew. Our first question to Coach Etherton is, what makes an athlete ready to be a Trojan? Athletes need to be dedicated to greatness. They have to have an undeniable work ethic. They need to lead by example. They're great students, organize, self-discipline, and always hold themselves accountable. Our next question is, what is special about Andrew? Andrew is well-spoken, intelligent young man with an exceptional ability to compete on the mound. He has a relentless mentality and an excellent work ethic. What makes Andrew a good fit for your program? Andrew can pitch. He understands what it means to be a complete pitcher. He has the mindset, preparation, execution, game awareness. He holds runners well, and he fields his position. He also has a great leadership presence around his peers. And our last question is, how might he provide an immediate impact on your program as an incoming freshman? I expect to compete for a weekend starting role as a freshman. He is mature enough, and he has the ability to do so. Andrew, those are some nice words coming from a major university and a really, really well-known professional pitching coach. Thank you both, Coach Seltzer and Coach Etherton, for your time. We appreciate your kind words and looking forward to seeing them perform for you on the field. On the show this week, we are showcasing two stellar CVCS athletes, Camille Solovjev and Andrew Johnson. Camille is a senior volleyball player and is in her second year here at CVCS. She is a libero and one of the volleyball team's captains. Camille is committed to Biola University. At CVCS, she led the team to the semifinals last year, and they are on their way to the CIF championship this weekend. She has earned all-league and all-region honors. She plays club volleyball for San Clemente Volleyball Club. Andrew is a senior baseball player and has been at CVCS since his elementary days. He is a pitcher and the baseball team captain. He is committed to play baseball at USC. He plays for the SoCal Giants and the GBG national team. He has been invited and played in the area code games and the PBR Futures games. There really isn't a showcase that Andrew isn't invited to. What a talented duo to have on the show this week. It is so great to have you both here on the show this week. Congratulations on your committing to college for USC and Biola. What a great honor. Can you start us off with what are some of your favorite experiences you've had here at CVCS?
Well, I've been here for 12 years, since first grade, so I have a lot of good memories, but if I had to choose one, I would say my sophomore year, baseball game versus Temecula Valley, we were away, and they were like one of the top-ranked teams in Division I that year. We put up really good battles, like the sixth inning tied, and Hayden had a big double that opened it up, and that was like the most fun I've ever had playing baseball. So that's probably one of my favorite memories.
Very cool. Camille?
Okay, so I've only been here this is my second year at CVCS, but my favorite memory would probably have to be 2 games ago, the quarterfinals. We played Kennedy High School, and that was probably the most fun I've had playing a game here. Like, we were down the first set, but then the next 3 sets, we absolutely sweep them. And it was just so amazing. We were literally like so overjoyed to play. We were so happy. And it was just like everyone was screaming. Everyone was laughing. Like, it was so much fun.
Yeah, you guys are on quite a ride right now. We have the CIF finals here on Saturday, 10 a.m. in Cerritos. So a lot to look forward to on the volleyball front. And then Andrew, another good winning tradition last year, going for it again this year. Any prospects for this year? What you guys are looking forward to?
Second round both years we've got bounced, so we're definitely looking to go deeper. That's always the goal, but I think this year it's just being scrappy. I think we're not as on paper as talented or as good, but I think we're gonna be really good this year because we just got that mindset of being dogs, and for the seniors it's the last one, so we're gonna be scrappy and just win out in any way possible.
Nice. Next, how have some of your coaches helped you grow as a baseball player and as a volleyball player?
I would definitely go. First comes to mind Coach Chach, and second comes to mind Coach Brian Rao, pitching coach. But Coach Chach, because he's at CVCS, I would say we talked about every time, just not even me, but everybody trusting the process. And I also think something that's super important is just, putting yourself in situations to be uncomfortable, to become comfortable. And it's a huge thing, especially when you're going to play at the next level. So you got to learn how to overcome adversity. So I would say that's a big one that's helped me, and it's something that's stuck with me, because if you know how to do that, you're going to be put in a good position to win.
Good.
Mm-hmm. And same thing for me. Like, my Coach Bond has a phrase. It's like gradually then suddenly. It's what she's been saying like the whole year we've been working at doing certain things, and then it's just suddenly all of a sudden when we win a game. That's kind of what she means by it. But like, compared to other coaches I've had, Coach Bond and Coach Katie, they've taught me different things about volleyball that I would have never thought would even be part of a game, like parts of IQ that I didn't have before. They've made me more of a competitor too, and just everything. I don't even know. They've just strengthened volleyball and my love for volleyball so much, and they've helped me out so much.
Nice. After the interview with both Coach Bonilla and Coach Bond, they both talked about your strong leadership skills and how you guys have owned that role as seniors and taking it and getting ownership of your team. And then also talking about how you guys have grown as students of the game. Your IQ has grown, your understanding what to do in what situations, and able to succeed in those moments and also build upon it to lead your fellow teammates in those moments. So you have another big moment, Camille, with CIF finals coming up.
Yes.
And then you have states, so it's great to see who you've become here at CVCS and continuing to improve. So that's awesome. In what ways has CVCS helped you prepare athletically and academically for the next level at Biola and at USC?
I think one thing that Coach Chach and the whole staff does really well is running it like a typical college program. So, we practice with the whole entire program, and we everything we're doing is like a program, suits on game days, bus rides as a team. Like I said, the whole program practices together. So one thing that he preaches is, like we said, just being uncomfortable and trusting the process, and that's something you got to do at the next level. So I would say just running the program like a college program. It's going to be easy to kind of maneuver my way, I feel, through USC because I have a little bit of a background already. So I think that's probably one of the biggest things.
And probably for me, obviously, my two coaches, they both played at the collegiate level. So already that's like one step ahead. Another thing is that the coaches, they don't let us slack off at all, not even one bit. You can hear Coach Katie and Coach Bond from the opposite side of the campus sometimes, because they just they make us work hard and they keep us working hard, and they've just prepared me so much because especially Coach Katie or Coach Bond, they know what our team is capable of, they know what I'm capable of. So when I am slacking off, they make it known to me, and they help me out with that. But it's just, once again, our coaches, just like Andrew, they run it like a collegiate level thing. All of our drills, all of our practices, they're from national volleyball, all the drills, everything. They're from college volleyball. So it's basically they've helped me so much, and they prepared me. And especially with even weight training too. I know that a lot of other schools don't do weights like we do. We're up at 6 a.m. lifting outside. We've been doing that forever. Since July we've been lifting. So that's also helped me because I'm going to have to do that next year too.
Yeah, the college athlete schedule is a busy one. We used to do 5 o'clock weights and then go to 8 a.m. class and then practice for 3-4 hours.
Hayden was texting me about how Indiana is. He says the grind's crazy. He's up at 4:30, lift at 5, and then he's not home. And he's doing classes and stuff, and he's not home till 7. So, but it's a good grind. It's a good busy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Hunter was just on the phone the other day too, and he was talking about how college is a little bit of a shock, but how Chach did a great job of preparing you guys with what to expect from other coaches, and then what kind of tradition that we've built here as a baseball program that wins a lot and holds each other to a high standard.
Yeah. When
considering to choosing college, what were some things that you were looking for in a college in your recruiting journey? And then what were some of the things that Biola and USC were able to offer you that kind of put them over the edge?
I can take this one first. So basically, I've known that I've always wanted to stay in California. I love my life here, and I like being close to my family. And Biola's it's right in smack dab in the middle of my parents and my grandparents. So that was obviously a big factor for me. And just a Christian aspect of school. I've been to non-Christian schools, or one non-Christian school, and it's a completely separate life than what it is at a Christian school. And I love being surrounded by people, especially teammates too. I've been on teams with non-Christians, and it's just it's completely different. I have a true family here with the girls. So it's at Biola, it's the same chemistry with the team. I've met all the girls. I love the girls. And so there was it. And obviously, a lot of the different colleges that I looked into to playing volleyball, and when I was talking with the coaches, just Coach Aaron, Gracie, and Brian, they stood out in many ways above every other one of the coaches. I absolutely love the coaching staff. That's probably the main reason why I wanted to choose Biola, just because the coaches were absolutely amazing. So that's why.
When it was coming to my decision through the recruitment process, Camille, I wanted to stay in California, but I wasn't too set on it. I could have gone somewhere else. I wouldn't be mad at it. But, when you think of, what you're going to do at the collegiate level, especially for sports, first thing comes to mind is development, right? So, that was a big factor in my decision. And I think, some people know, some people don't. The now pitching coach that was hired when they got the new staff used to come here when he was with the Reds on the off season and train with us. So I already had kind of a connection there, and I love Seth. So I think I'm going to be under really good hands. And the coaching staff there is amazing too. Like Camille, while USC is not a Christian university, Coach Andy Stankiewicz is a new head coach, came over from GCU, and he's really fundamental with his faith, which is super awesome because I still get kind of a background. And if you want any coach to be the spiritual leader, you want the head coach to be. So that's super. I'm super happy about that too. But development-wise, I'm going to be put in the best position to succeed and get better at USC. And, I just can't wait to see what we're going to do because I'm going on the official in, I think, 2 weeks, something like that. So, that's when I even get a closer look at all that stuff. But I would say development is probably the biggest thing when I was looking for a college.
Yeah, when I was doing a little bit of research on this, USC just hired the director of development, Sergio Brown.
Yeah.
He's the one who recruited me to go to UC San Diego.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, wow,
Sergio's
that's
cool.
it's all the way back.
Yeah.
So that was a fun little tidbit there, too, that we were almost recruited, or you're going to be developed through him, and I was recruited by him. So super cool on that aspect. And then finally, how has your team, your coaches, your family here at CVCS, faculty members, how have they helped nurture your relationship with Christ?
So I've just in the past 2 years that I've been here, I've just noticed a complete shift in my faith and all of that personal stuff. My family's noticed it, other people around me have noticed it. So I came in not having a super strong faith, and just immediately the coaches, it was a complete shock to me that we would talk about God before practice. We would do share in prayer before practice is what we do. We share things about our days and our weeks, and then we talk about prayer requests, and then we go over that. And we also did devos. We did team devotionals where girls would go and they would it'd be 2 girls and they would go and plan a devotional for the week, and then we would go through it. And last year we would read Christian books about Christian athletes and stuff like that. So that has just that was a shocker for me, and I think those things have been really foundational in building my faith here. And just once again, Coach Kelle and Coach Katie, it's God is incorporated into absolutely everything we do, into all of our practices. When I'm walking around, we're talking about it. I just had a conversation today about my faith with Coach Kelle, and it's just it's been so amazing. And if we're talking about school part 2, it wasn't a shock to me, but once again, coming from my last school, the teachers didn't really talk about God on a personal level because I went to a Catholic school. It was kind of just more facts. But here it's all my teachers are always incorporating God into their lessons, and it's kind of just crazy that they do that for us, and they genuinely care about our relationships with God. Last year we even had mentor groups where we were talking about God. I never experienced that before. So CVCS has just been absolutely amazing in building my faith, and I'm really happy to see how the rest of the year turns out for me.
Same with Camille and the volleyball program. Obviously the baseball program, we do devotions for every game day during the season. And I think when I'm thinking about a person who I want to lead, the person you're around the most are the coaches, and the person you want to be leading you is a woman or a man of Christ. So I think it's really good that, I think all the coaches here in every sport have a background biblically, which is really cool because the person you're learning not only the game from, but life aspects from is coming from a Christ standpoint. So it's not easy, but it is easy to follow because it's just it's a good role model. And I would appreciate the teachers too, because every teacher is really they're willing to work with you, and they're willing to help you out with your schedule. And it's just it's not just their nice personality. You can really see just the love of Christ to everybody here. So I would say that that developed my relationship with Christ too, just the coaches and the teachers, but especially the coaches.
That's awesome to hear that it's not just in our name, but it's who we are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Christ is the center of everything that we do here on the field, off the field, on the courts, off the courts. It's great to see it through and through on each one of you guys. So thank you so much for your time. Mm-hmm. Congratulations. You guys deserve a whole lot of praise, and you guys are wonderful, wonderful people. I have you both in my classes. I've got to coach Andrew, and these guys are nothing but top-notch, and so excited for everything you guys are going to be able to accomplish here in the near future.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And that's the show for this week. Thank you to Coaches Bond and Bonilla for coming on the show. Thank you, Coach Seltzer of Biola and Coach Etherton of USC for their kind words about Camille and Andrew. A huge thank you to Camille and Andrew. You two have so much ahead of you, and we are so proud of who you have shaped out to be. And thank you all for listening to the show. Please give CVCS Athletics Podcast a follow, a like, a subscribe, and a rating. You can find us on all major podcast streaming services such as Apple, Spotify, and Google. Please visit the CVCS Podcast Network website at cvcs.org/podcast for all the shows from CVCS. In Eagles country, let's fly.
This episode has been a production of the Capistrano Valley Christian Schools Podcast Network. Capistrano Valley Christian Schools is a Christian JK-12 school in San Juan Capistrano, California. Be sure to check out, subscribe to, and leave a review of this show and the other shows on our network on your podcast player of choice. Doing so supports the school community in a multitude of ways. For more information about the CVCS Podcast Network or any of our other shows, check out cvcs.org or email podcasts@cvcs.org. On behalf of the whole network, this is Mr. Jasper saying thank you again for listening and stay tuned for more.